Brake bleeding problems. This is a common thing. So we're going to talk a little bit about bleeding your brakes. So number one, bleeding your brakes can be read all over the internet, so we're not going through that. We're going through brake bleeding problems. So one problem, and the most common one I would say, is especially when you're rebuilding your system, is you're using these kind of turns where the highest point have no bleeding point. So the highest point should always have this kind of bleeding screw. One other thing could be brake lines from your chassis to the brake caliper, where the cable or where the brake line goes like this, where this could potentially be the highest point. It shouldn't be, but it could. And if it is, when you're bleeding your brakes, be sure to put it down to get rid of all the air. So in the case of line brake hose as the highest point, just move it down when you're bleeding the brakes and it will be fine. When it comes to brake lines like the tubing, you might route it the easiest way when rebuilding. Be sure to route it low, because the highest point should always have a bleed screw. In aftermarket use, when you're adding a hydraulic handbrake, this brake distribution valve is used with the hydraulic handbrake. This valve could be located in a higher point than other parts, and air will be trapped in this, and this is where you have a bleeding screw. This will make life easy when you're going to bleed your system. So keep in mind that highest part in your brake system should always have a bleeding screw, and if it doesn't, it could be saved by bleeding more, but don't take the risk when making the brake system. Always have a bleeding screw at the highest points.